And let's have a look at this champion lineup.
Yeah, just remind you guys at home, because we are at a different stage in this tournament, the predetermined map will obviously be different. So Corrupted Keep, we haven't really seen things start with Corrupted Keep, even though it's a very popular counter pick. Now, this champion lineup is something we expected to see this. It's the combination of Anarchy, Nyx, Sorlag. We're at a stage now in Quake Champions where in Duel, there is a very sort of full-on, I think, meta that must be followed. There are champions that just fit each map fantastically well. They play the game really well. Sorlag is kind of like that real front point, which just does damage early on. I mean, we just saw Kilson dominantly take it over Syndrome to move and qualify it into DreamHack on the winner's side. You know, very, very convincingly, and a huge part of that came from aggressive Sorlag with a fantastic start. Understanding when the opponent has weapons that they don't really have to fight, but you have like an LG, and if you're Sorlag with an LG, that's all you need. It's just knowledge of what you need with a champion that you start with.
But I think that could be a direction the game will sort of take in time, right? You know, even Claws at the Quake World Championships, we saw going in for that sort of Sorlag early aggression. As soon as he felt like he could take a frag, he would just charge in with that LG and confidence and just delete people. And that's what we saw from Kilson last time. A lot of time we'll see players kind of easily back off if they realize, okay, we're both low, let's get some space, let's try and reset things a little bit. But some of the players we've seen really going in for that aggressive LG play, really to sort of benefit in the end. But something interesting about this lineup, we see so many people going with the same champions, but different starter points. Some people go for the Anarchy because they want to have as much time as possible to sort of, you know, get that injection topped up and getting all that max health. And sometimes you just put Sorlag there, because Sorlag first is quite hard to deal with for the majority of the champions in the game.
Your start will be unpredictable,
yeah,
with these two champions together. You're unlikely to pick Nyx first, but Anarchy or Sorlag, they'll serve different purposes. strenx opting to go for a bit more of an unpredictable route there. Doesn't want to dedicate entirely to that ledge.
So he's going to know that GaRpy's going to have access to that rocket launcher still. Looks like strenx has both of them as well. I mean, that is an important thing about this map. We say it every time, but it really is an important factor. No rail means that rocket launcher and lightning gun are the most contended weapons on the map. So much acid coming through, nothing connected, but the damage over time at least. Looks like one tick of it and GaRpy's going to go down. strenx with that first blood. Just the damage over time tick of the acid is all he needed.
There's no way he was going to survive that one. Not when he had that much health, compared to the amount of health that strenx still had. And he was one rocket away from death in close quarters. I mean, both these champions, and Sorlag and Anarchy, they're a little bit harder to rocket on the ground because Sorlag will be constantly bunny hopping, and Anarchy will stay in the air and be hard to hit too. But hang on a minute, they trade it back and forth. And now it's going to be Anarchy versus Sorlag once more, but with one champion each out of the match right now.
It kind of looked like strenx opted to go for a couple of mid-air directs, but unfortunately none of them quite connected, so nothing quite was on the mark. Didn't get any damage whatsoever, so GaRpy was able to return that frag of his own.
Floor is lava. Oh,
literally.
burn the feet.
Burn the little base of your feet. Can you imagine that?
That would...
hot. That's literally lava.
Well,
still though, all this range. Pokey damage coming through, lightning gun point blank.
Oh dear!
Acid though, strenx might be in trouble here. No, there's the health. He's definitely not going to die to acid this time. GaRpy falls down. Oh wow, catches Nyx.
Yeah,
does have the injection.
Even when he re-emerges, I think he's going to be able to chase this one down. He's tried to go
knows
upstairs, but he can't survive.
Yep.
Limited escape routes right there. strenx the confident and convincing round one.
It's looking good. I mean, a big part of that came down to sort of just playing around the acid. GaRpy, he tried a couple of times to get the acid sprays, but wasn't quite as on the money. Even strenx, you know, he missed a lot of the acid earlier, but just because he got the damage over time, it's kind of all he needed. I think on a map like Corrupted Keep, getting the damage over time is so important because it's such a small map, and it's so, I mean, there's so many different ways people can go, but it's so easy to get to where they are. Hang on, is he going to chase this through? You know, the acid's down. At least is at least. Looks like GaRpy still has his. But seeing the damage over time acid tick down, I mean, you can really get an immediate recognition of where they are. Oh, so much damage coming out from this nail gun. Damn.
Yeah, nice accuracy on that super nail gun there. And now it's become a little bit more dangerous because he's got an LG, but he's super weak. A lot of health and
oh, wow, out of nowhere, the rocket from beyond. GaRpy with the direct. Sorlag is turned to paste.
And I mean, with the health and armor he's got available, that's a fantastic trade-off for GaRpy. Got plenty of weapons.
That was such a great shot.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like he was mid-air in the middle of the room and it went through a doorway at a funny angle. That was such a good shot.
We mentioned that GaRpy, he has a bit of a rough start sometimes, and it does not look like this series is one of those cases. Look how much damage he's done to strenx. Forced him to run away.
Heavy armor's going to be up in a few seconds, though. Does GaRpy try and force him here? Doesn't look like it. I think he just wants to top himself back up himself.
I feel like strenx is going to try and fight for this mega, using the amount of armor he's got, but Oh no, walks into the belly of the beast and goes headfirst into the acid spit. A brave attempt, but that definitely didn't work out.
I mean, you always have to be careful when you approach Sorlag head-on like that. I mean, clearly strenx was trying to juke the acid, but I mean, if they land them and you're someone like Anarchy, it's dangerous. There's the assassination. strenx tries to get the surprise. Very low here. GaRpy can take him down, and he will. That's going to be the round returned. Unfortunately, that's going to be it. Changing it 1 for 1.
I mean, that was a good rocket. I don't know if that's the rocket strenx they're talking about, but that was a fantastic rocket early on. I mean, it started everything. It was the change of momentum that GaRpy desperately needed to start with. Both
Wow,
Sorlag once more.
The heavy armor too.
And one thing you'll notice, the start, depending on the spawn, it's a consistent start. And that was a great start for strenx. He's got massive damage output with these weapons. He's got an LG and a super shotgun. Lethal at every range.
Machine gun. Deceivingly good damage on the
Heavy machine gun too.
Yes, indeed. There we go. strenx has himself a rocket and a lightning gun now.
Oh, the direct!
Big direct damage.
That would have been a game-changing direct, but Sorlag surviving with a speck of health.
He is looking good at the very least, but GaRpy does have himself a lead. I mean, there's a lot of frags going on in these rounds. We haven't even got close to the timeout yet.
Oh dear!
That's it, strenx. He's going to go down. He tries to get the injection, but not enough. I mean, the fact that he can't shoot back while injecting really is proving to be a problem in these one-on-ones, especially when it's against Sorlag. Because Sorlag just wants to shell out so much damage constantly. Eventually, it's going to do so much.
But trying to escape will also be difficult because of how close quarters this map actually is.
Yes, indeed. Oh, excellent support GaRpy, but GaRpy's quite stacked.
Yeah, minimal damage, only 11 on that rocket. Definitely not enough to bother a Sorlag with this amount of stack. Again, minimal damage on the rocket, but a 78. That'll sort him out. With the Mega and the Heavy soon to spawn. I think GaRpy actually using the Heavy against him.
It's hard to believe we're only 1 minute 40 seconds into this round, considering how much damage has already been done to strenx. Still though, resetting back again, strenx being careful not to make too much noise, trying to get this Ghost Walk back as quickly as he can.
It's going to be key in this matchup. You can't fight a Sorlag without Ghost Walk because you will die. Oh no!
Oh dearie me, knocked straight off the map. GaRpy, wow! Sent him to the beyond.
To the beyond realm. I mean, like, you get hit by one rocket in the previous round, and that was bad enough. How about a rocket that just sends you out of the map? That was fantastic.
I mean, strenx was trying to go for those quick jumps to try and build up some speed to get away.
I saw the top left as well.
But the fact that he was so airborne, I mean, that's what sent him flying. But I mean, well played to GaRpy.
Sick air, bro. Right.
Oh, wow.
Same. Oh.
GaRpy has just been doing really well with these rockets so far.
Oh, wow. Oh, nice prediction. The tick damage won't apply, so strenx will be a little bit more healthy. Oh, and a fantastic rocket! He absolutely needed that to connect.
And just in time to get the heavy armor too, but he needs to get health as quickly as he can. Armor doesn't mean anything if you have no health to take the damage. Oh, he's going down, and all that armor didn't matter as GaRpy just deletes it quickly with the lightning gun.
Minimal damage taken in return too. Like, that was a great exchange for GaRpy. Now if he can win this Anarchy mirror, he's in good form for this first map.
Oh wow, GaRpy again. So many fights taking place just here. strenx trying to shoot rockets from above. Use that height advantage forced to inject though.
Now, even though you're not vulnerable to rails on this map, you can still take, one dodgy rocket, and you can still get one shot after using that injection with no armor.
Yes, indeed. You can see him going through here. This could be a fight he's going to take. Speed just trying to zip away as fast as possible.
Oh.
Yeah, GaRpy doesn't want to fight at all yet. What he's trying to do.
Oh, 5 rockets is still enough to fight at close range. Like, strenx isn't going to be worried about his ammo count just yet. Here comes the Heavy. Will he take the fight towards Mega? He's not going to be able to pick it up, but he's probably going to be able to catch him where he knows he is. Goes for those point-blank rockets. The injection is used. GaRpy can't survive! Another 2 health strenx! Just by the skin of his teeth more than once!
That is insane, just to survive with such little health over and over again. A calculated madness. So though, GaRpy here trying to get this frag down. If he can do it quickly, he can even things out.
Oh, huge damage.
All goes to Ghost Walk.
He's standing his ground. Forced to escape. nice amount of damage. That has undone a huge chunk of that heavy armor, but now he's got Mega. You can only really do so much.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no damage on that super shotgun, but it doesn't matter one bit. strenx gets another round. And we're down to our last round of this first map.
And GaRpy's positioning was great in that round. He was always where he needed to be. He just wasn't getting the right numbers out of that rocket launcher, which is easier said than done, considering how small Nyx is of a target.
It can be underestimated how difficult she is to hit. And that's one of her payouts of having a small health pool, but she is much more difficult to land hits on than certain other champions. So the fact that these players are so consistently able to hit rails, hit that lightning gun trail as well, like it's so difficult. The best players in the world will make it look easy, that's for sure.
Still though, going down to the wire are we in this first map?
Oh, massive rocket!
Yeah, that was huge. GaRpy can follow up. He's trying to, as it didn't quite connect though.
Yeah, a bit of a premature right there, I think.
Maybe you expected strenx to follow up.
Yeah, potentially. I think using it that early, you kind of run the risk of not having it for this fight, and because he hasn't got it, he gets GaRpy again! strenx for a third time, surviving with barely any health.
And again, was able to get the heavy armor at the same time. strenx is just, he's winning these 1v1s at the perfect time. But now GaRpy's lost that Sorlag, and we know strenx has been doing well with his so far. It's going to be tough for GaRpy. Still though, plenty of time left to go with.
But I feel like part of that was because GaRpy sort of like a little bit too early used the acid spit. So when the fight occurred near the heavy armor, he just didn't have that increased output of damage. And because the health was so small in comparison, if he had his acid spit, GaRpy probably would have survived that fight.
He isn't going to get a chance to prove otherwise here. A lot of damage coming through. Is GaRpy going to drop down? Acid didn't quite connect. The injection is popped. Oh, slowly but surely. No, he's got a bunch of pickups.
Yep, he won't die. He won't die by the ticking damage. But they have traded ability for ability. Sorlag straight back up to 150. Hang on a minute, the LG!
Wait. How?
Just dodging the rockets and getting a good track of LG.
strenx was on 150 health and GaRpy was on less than half of that, and he won the 1v1.
That was clutch. Definitely clutch indeed.
GaRpy's tracking was on point there, evening things up. That was a really good momentum shift for GaRpy. Oh wow, yeah, he's below as well, trying to get this damage and strenx. To get out.
Forced to use the injection just to not get picked off too. But he bets the farm on rocket, but this time it doesn't work out. The comeback is possible, 100%, but it's going to be difficult.
I mean, as he is, he doesn't have much in terms of weapons, probably just an LG and a machine gun. Might be all he needs. He's trying to get away with the armor. Oh, GaRpy, there he goes, beats him to the punch. And he's going to take the heavy armor and win the first map. Wow, that was really well played by GaRpy. He knew he was going straight for the heavy armor, so he put everything he could into just beating him to the heavy armor. And as soon as GaRpy picked it up, that was it. Game over.
I mean, you can actually understand both sides there. You can understand why strenx tried to gun it, because he used the Ghost Walk immediately after taking the Mega. Because he was like, well, if I'm going to use my Ghost Walk, I need to make sure that I've got a huge amount of health to start this comeback. And if I can beat him to the heavy armor, I'm probably going to win this fight. If I get the heavy armor before he gets to me, I'll probably win that fight. And if I get a good spawn on his Nyx, then the comeback is possible. You know, I think he was really thinking far ahead about what getting that heavy armor would do to the chances of his comeback. However, GaRpy just beat him there. You know, he just beat him to it and just shut that down completely.
I mean, you don't have a long time to make those decisions, right? As soon as you take out that frag and they're about to send in their third and final champion, you already have to have made your mind up of, okay, what am I doing? Where am I going? Am I going to try and beat the spawn? Am I going to try and beat them to a power-up? Am I going to go for the mega health, the heavy armor? Like, you don't have a long time to make up your mind there. So GaRpy was able to swiftly try and get some damage on the spawn point that he knew he was going to spawn at, did as much damage at the LG, saw how little health he had left and thought, right, mega health's gone, heavy armor's coming up. He's running in that direction, I've got to beat him there. Just perfectly played by GaRpy. And looks at the next map is going to be Blood Covenant, which would have been strenx's choice as he just lost the first map. So Blood Covenant as our second map. Do you reckon we're going to see GaRpy go back to Doomslayer?
It's hard to say, because a lot of the champions he plays already have good mobility and are able to navigate the map, you know, in very efficient fashion, and Doomslayer is one of those additions. I guess the question is, does he substitute one of his less mobile champions for Doomslayer, which I guess the obvious one is Sorlag, of which I think it's unlikely. I think he's going to keep Sorlag anyway. will he trade Anarchy or Nyx, or even, you know, like a Ranger or something, for Doomslayer because of the double jump? I guess that remains to be seen. We've only seen him use it on Blood Run so far, and I can't really say I've seen GaRpy go on Blood Covenant with that character, but not too often, really.
Going by the champions we've seen him pick today, I think he definitely can't lose the Sorlag. Like, he's been doing too well on Sorlag. His Anarchy has been really, like, really good today. His Nyx has been powerful, but I think if there's room for anyone on his team to maybe swap out for Doomslayer, it's probably Nyx. But Nyx is so good on Blood Covenant, I just don't know if you'd ever swap her out for that.
Well, she makes all the same jumps he can.
Exactly.
The only difference is, I guess, the double jump on certain jumps, but we may see we're going into Champion Select. Will GaRpy stick with the same comp? strenx is automatically going in for Slash. Now, this is quite an obvious change, and it's quite a fast forward in time, I think, seeing Slash get picked so consistently on Blood Covenant. There was a time where you never saw this champion get picked at all, but the composition, he's going to stick with the tried and true. He wants to go with the team that just got him the win on Corrupted Keep, and he's going to stick with it.
Whereas strenx, knowing that he's potentially one map away from elimination in this tournament, has swapped out the Anarchy for Slash. I mean, they serve a similar purpose. They have tremendous mobility options. They really are two of the fastest champions in the game. Slash doesn't have that kind of like self-sustaining the injection, but she does have naturally higher health and spawns with that armor and the speed increase in damage.
I mean, no one navigates Blood Covenant the way Slash does. Like, no champion in this game gets around as fast as she can. But if you've got high execution like strenx does, and he has the execution to pull off those little trick jumps or just those quick twists and turns, it's vital to have, because the speed of which she can navigate and get those important items is unrivaled. No one else can beat her to those key pickups, I suppose.
So GaRpy going back with what we saw before, I mean, we have to remember, that was a very close map. Like, we could very easily find ourselves in the map 3 in just about, a few minutes' time. But in case we don't, we might have a situation on our hands where GaRpy might win 2-0. We said before, like, earlier on, like, he has sometimes struggled at sort of like the very first moments of a set and has ended up getting very comfortable in the end. But this one, he's just been looking strong from literally the word go.
Well, he mentioned it earlier. If he has a good start and eliminates those bad rounds, we could see a change of momentum, and we have started to see that. But once more, we've seen them switch it up a little bit.
Yeah,
not Sorlag first. Yeah, it's Anarchy versus Sorlag instead.
Does make you wonder how this is going to pay out, because there's a lot more space on this map. It's going to be a lot easier for Anarchy to run away when things aren't going his way.
But a clean rail like that into a heavy armor, though.
Oh no, so much in that one.
Oh!
Second unfortunate miss for strenx.
Absolutely.
It was a little bit preemptive from strenx there. I think he heard GaRpy running around and made that call. Sometimes it doesn't pay off, but respect the attempt.
Oh wow!
Hang on a minute, a lot of damage coming through here. strenx, there we go, just getting point blank to GaRpy and just rocketing his feet. Just to make sure that GaRpy just does not survive that encounter.
I kind of thought they both got a bit bamboozled right there, where, like, Anarchy was like right above strenx, so GaRpy couldn't really look down and see him, and strenx couldn't really look up and see him, but the health and armor difference was substantial enough. All you really need to do is do a little bit of splash damage, and I mean, the rockets will take care of the rest. And just look at this movement. Very clean movement indeed from strenx.
Oh, big rail as well from behind. GaRpy taking a lot of damage and strenx having a lot of health. GaRpy, again with that preemptive acid coming through. Oh, wow! Swift rail. GaRpy goes down 2 champions immediately. And strenx is just night and day, completely in control this time.
Has Mega, but for how long? I think as he re-emerges, GaRpy kind of has to be a bit aggressive, but has to be careful. He's going to know that acid spit is available. Here we go again. Full speed ahead.
Oh no,
that was almost a frag.
Sweet.
That would have been the closest of directs.
Oh! No, GaRpy is going to get away this time. And the armor goes towards strenx again.
Caught in midair. The LG's sort of pushback properties are going to be especially effective against Sorlag, because bunny hopping, she's going to be airborne pretty much all the time to get that acceleration.
Looks like GaRpy's run back again, trying to build that space between them.
But once more, this is a situation strenx can happily play. He can play for the champion advantage. GaRpy doesn't even have a chance to use Ghost Walk right there. Acid Tick combined with a rocket, and that was all she wrote. A very comfortable and quick round 1.
There's that damage combination, lightning gun into acid. When you see that they're starting to take some damage, point blank swaps that rocket. So much damage so quickly. Very little characters in the game can survive that.
Round 2, fight.
This is supposed to
Round 2 though, if GaRpy can hold on to his first champion a little bit longer, do a little bit better this time. The strenx, I mean, he's playing a lot more aggressive than we saw last time. I mean, this was his map choice, maybe this is just the map he feels the most comfortable to do that kind of strategy. He's listing out, he wants to find out where GaRpy is in advance. I think he really thrives from getting the jump on the GaRpy here. Getting that first shot before GaRpy can shoot back.
Oh, caught on the jump pad, the
hang on, this is
classic death sentence. But wait a minute, he's turned it around. 2 acid ticks straight from above. That was almost a clean frag for GaRpy, but because of those 2 acid ticks, he couldn't afford to fight.
Yeah, that's going to be it. He was able to get the mega health for it, so strenx was almost in trouble, but not anymore. GaRpy does have the height advantage on though. GaRpy falls down, might be in trouble, but I doubt he's going to try. That was a big damage.
It's crazy how swift these things can turn around. I mean, I was almost ready to call strenx guaranteed dead there. Caught on the jump pad, not much he could do, apart from just try and out-damage his opponent. He was able to do it. Misses the rail, unfortunate. And wow, he just piles in with the LG. Oh no, the heavy armor! Do they trade? No, the acid tick misses.
Oh, it was 2 ticks away from maybe doing enough, but that just goes to show again, armor doesn't mean anything if you have no health to sponge it up. Plasma trail popped.
I wonder if strenx actually saw him there.
Or even then, if he realized how little health GaRpy actually had, he had no armor in at the time, not full. Still though, can't blame him for exercising caution. This could be his last map. He has to be careful. GaRpy is currently up a map on him.
In this loser's bracket, you can't make any mistakes. And there is no room for error. One mistake might cost you your chance at DreamHack Denver. Might make you second guess a couple of decisions.
Oh no, missing on the rail for rail.
I mean, slash Shidanaki, 2 very tiny little hitboxes. Nice little jump over that bridge.
Yeah, well executed. See GaRpy looking around. GaRpy does have the lead. He can sit on it if he wants. We have seen GaRpy just straight up run away
fantastic little rail there from strenx. And he gets another one. Impressive stuff.
Yeah, that mid-air is not going to go amiss. strenx is going to get that one. GaRpy now goes into Sorlag. Slash doesn't have any way to really stop that damage over time once it starts. No self-heal, no invulnerability, just movement. But health, 140, stacked on health, stacked on armor. There's 1 point strenx to afford a point-blank confrontation with Sorlag. Probably now hits 2 rails. Can he hit a third?
You still need to hit 1 more to make it count. But even then, 2 more if you look at the health. Sorlag, I mean, she is a tanky champion.
Oh no, misses the third on the jump pad. That could have been huge. Gets that one though. Couple rails away from the kill. GaRpy has to be careful. Oh no, the pylon gets in the way.
He still needs to hit 2 more. Make that
one.
3.
GaRpy is just topping himself up every time. These rails are just tickling him at this point. There we go, point blank. Plasma trails, he can use it. All the acid. That's gonna be dead.
Oh my days. I cannot believe he was on the back foot from that distance for so long. Survived the absolute onslaught that was a million rails. And still wins the fight.
It's because in between every rail, he was healing himself. You know, he was using those pickups well.
Oh dear.
A lot of damage coming through. Ghost walk forced. strenx is in a bit of a bad position here.
And he knows he's still there because he's just seen the effects re-emerge.
Yeah, collected the mega health though, so he's going to be okay.
This has been a long round, but if GaRpy wins this, it's going to be 1-1. And we're going to be straight back to even. Here comes the acid. Is it enough?
Wow. Oh, 8 damage? Oh, wow, no, he stood in it after.
Dead.
That wasn't ticking at the time. He stood in that after the fact. That is unfortunate.
I mean,
GaRpy's like, yep.
You've just got to watch it. You've just got to watch your feet.
3, 2, 1.
I mean, that was just, it was sad to see that kind of thing happen. There really is no other way of putting it. It was a puddle on the floor. strenx, I mean, hindsight sucks, but he could have just avoided it. It was there. If he didn't stand there, he would have lived. Still though, in the heat of the moment, these things can happen. You have so much to concentrate on at any given moment. It's easy to forget the smallest of things.
But now GaRpy's the one with the rail. If he's going to play this sort of retreating style, and he's going to make sure that if he does have an up-close confrontation against Sorlag, if she at least doesn't have a humongous stack of health and armor because these rails are consistently picking her off, at least he's going to be taking the fight on better terms. Oh no! strenx doing a bit of self-damage.
Quite an amount of self-damage.
And misses the jump!
Yeah, strenx. Not playing quite as clean right now with his mobility.
I mean, he actually saw it in chat, right? I mean, he acknowledged that GaRpy is having what he deems as good fortune and maybe affecting strenx a little bit. Mental composure is so key.
Maybe, but still, strenx is fully stacked on health. Half armor, but definitely plenty to sponge a lot of damage.
Just look at the difference between health and armor right now. GaRpy is significantly weaker. Oh. Catches him midair, but the return rocket.
You can tell strenx was certain that GaRpy was going to go for that mega health, but GaRpy used that prediction against him, it seems. Oh, trying to go through the rail. strenx making himself he is as healthy as he physically can be without the overstack.
Oh, so slightly misses those rails.
Yeah, GaRpy missed 3 for 3. That's not going to be ideal. Heavy armor's up too. Yeah, those misses can be definitely concede that armor. strenx using a lot of it. Get some mobility on the deck. Mega health is up. Oh, misses that rail, unfortunate.
GaRpy doesn't want to commit too hard, but he goes in with the jump pad. That is guaranteed death right there. Point blank after all that acid. I mean, he can't survive.
Yeah, you can't see 3 acid balls connect and just... Anarchy is the last person to survive that. Hang on, though, strenx is my health here, but no, GaRpy drops first. Great play by strenx to survive that encounter. Now it's going to be 3 against 1.
It was a fantastic spawn for strenx. I mean, he had no LG. The only highest damaging weapon he had there was the super nail gun, which obviously is a projectile that must be aimed in front. So if your LG is tracking, then the damage will be in your favor. There we go. Another rocket. 3 for 3. A fantastic round for strenx.
That was well played. 1 round away from tying things up 1 map apiece, but GaRpy still needs to win this map to eliminate strenx and advance through the bracket. We're getting down to that point now that these rounds are crucial. Every frag will count. Although strenx has been starting with the Sorlag every time, and when he doesn't get knocked off early, he can do amazing things with it.
They've both gone Sorlag first this time round, so it's a straight up mirror.
Oh, all out LG. Oh, none of the acid.
Actually surprised there, missed. It must have just missed by a hair's length.
Maybe. So GaRpy still has some of his stack left. That helped.
Nice rail. A couple more of those, he's going to be in business. Oh, wow, the return. They're going to trade that out. Mega for heavy.
They do indeed. Go back to this long-range game. You have to be so careful, Sorlag versus Sorlag. There's so much that could potentially go wrong.
But when you're in this situation, and you're strenx, and 1 round will tie things up, you're going to calculate every single decision you make. Just look at GaRpy, confidently standing near the teleporter. He realized it had been a bit of a while.
It's a rocket, though.
Accuracy hasn't been their strong suit in this round in particular.
Not sure, perhaps the pressure of what's on the line is starting to get to them. Not sure. I mean, these are both long-time competitive players, so I can't imagine his nerves. This game does require such immense concentration. Oh, nice rail.
Yeah, that's going to force GaRpy to retreat.
Yeah, GaRpy considered following it up, but decided not to. Again, going back to that cautious style. This is good for strenx, though. Controlling the mega and the heavy. It's exactly what he needs to do. You see GaRpy already over there waiting for the spawn. strenx can knock him off.
strenx rails have been impressive. So impressive in this round.
Ace forced him off the mega health as he chased the kill.
But look how weak GaRpy is. I mean, 1 more rail and GaRpy is out there. To be forced to either Anarchy or Nick, so I'd be inclined to think Anarchy next.
Doesn't quite know where he's gone, unfortunately, it seems.
But even if he's losing him, because he's so consistently keeping GaRpy on the back foot, I mean, even if he isn't getting a frag, he's keeping GaRpy on his toes. He's not really letting him fight. If he wants to fight, he's not going to have anywhere near as much health and armor as strenx does.
Acid on the floor won't mean anything to Sorlag. Move from damage over time.
Nice, clean rail. Oh, no.
Yeah, there was the rocket jump sequence, but unfortunately lost a load of speed hitting the wall.
Now, this is definitely a change of pace. We're almost 3 minutes in and not 1 single frag has been taken just yet.
This could go down to a 1 frag round.
Uh-oh. Not going to worry too much about it just yet. Hasn't taken a huge amount of damage from those rockets, or the LG, in fact. And now we are 3 minutes in. 2 minutes and it'll be sudden death. Will this round be 100% a Sorlag mirror? Some self-damage as well. This is unfortunate for strenx.
It was the heavy armors there, but strenx doesn't want to pick it up. GaRpy knows he kind of needs to.
Forced away.
Yeah, he has it. strenx is the one forced to win.
GaRpy did spend the acid to keep him at bay, though. So if strenx can get a close range fight, he might be able to win. We have seen that earlier.
Minute. strenx might have given up mega health and heavy armor here.
Dearie me! He was in so much control this entire round, and now he's the one that's having to retreat. Here comes GaRpy. He's going in for the kill, pressing the advantage with LG. Here we go. Who's going to survive? And GaRpy can't survive again. Another tick, and LG is the deciding factor. That is so unfortunate.
Still though, strenx, if he drops down, it's still going to be tied up, but 1 minute warning is now going to be triggered. 1 minute away from strenx winning this map and tying things up 1 map apiece. GaRpy's going in. If GaRpy loses this one, that is going to be the round, almost certainly. I'd be very surprised if GaRpy can make this comeback now.
I mean, he's going to be rewarded with that mega health, 200 health, and if he takes out the Sorlag, who has acid spit, by the way, strenx is going to be able to delay his respawn. He's probably going to go next, and it doesn't even matter. He gets the rail. Fantastic round and a fantastic game. And the map pick was beneficial, like 100%.
Good adjustment from strenx. You know, having that longer space, having access to the rail seemed really good for him. Just generally really well played. We go into our third and final map. Again, this is lower bracket action, so the loser of this series is going to be eliminated from the tournament. Winner's going to advance through to, again, play for every set counts, because if you lose, you're out of the tournament. If you win, you advance through, and we are still playing for DreamHack Denver qualification spots for EU. So all to play for, $35,000 prize pot at DreamHack Denver, and that's what they are qualifying for, and that's what we've already seen Kilson and Cypher manage to secure their places for at the moment.
It's quite funny, really. In that third and final round, it was almost like history repeating itself, where GaRpy had used his acid spit as like an area denial tool, and it was good at the time and it worked out, but he would inevitably fight a few seconds afterwards, where strenx had his acid spit ready to go. And at the last minute, again, at the last minute, GaRpy, if he just saved the acid spit, he actually would have been able to score the frag, because the damage difference was almost non-existent. Both times it was like 6 health or 7 health, and that's 1 tick of LG. So if you hit 1 acid spit in that sequence, then the GaRpy probably would have taken it. So I wonder in this next map, is he likely to save the acid and only use it in fights, or do you think he's going to kind of stick to his guns and maybe try and just come off better in that fight without acid spit ready?
I'm not sure, but we are going to be on Ruins of Sarnath for the third map, which you said before. The Maestro guys generally seem to be really comfortable on.
It's a Maestro map. It definitely is. Like,
it's not surprising to see GaRpy go for it. We saw him pick this earlier on, I believe, and it's generally worked out very well for him. I think he's probably going to stick with the same composition. I think he's going to have to be careful when he uses the acid spit, which easier said than done. You know, I know for sure, but still, it's such an important part of your burst in those 1v1s. You have to be careful.
Now the lineup. They're betting everything on these champions they pick, and it's kind of looking like, yeah, they're going to mirror their composition. No slash this time for strenx, but GaRpy sticking with his guns, going with the champions that he knows. And I think this late into the game, it's pretty much what we all expect now. These 3 champions are so core, and on this map in particular, like, I don't see any 3 of these champions not being amazingly effective.
Well, it changes quite frequently, really. Even back to the days of the first few weeks of the Quake World Championship. You know, we've seen basically every champion in the game represented in duels. Even Doomslayer now. You know, after seeing him to date, we've seen all of them in competitive play in some way. You know, be it on certain maps, be it for certain players against certain players. I think that's a good sign to the game's sort of overall design from start to finish. Even though right now people have sort of settled on a composition of 3, we are seeing players win today and have success, disregarding it completely. You know, Cypher winning with Doomslayer instead of Sorlag. You know, Galena instead of Anarchy in this situation. So we know that it's not the be-all, end-all, it's just very reliable. And when you're playing for the amount of money that they are potentially playing for, you want reliable. If you know your composition is good, you know it ticks the boxes, so you can just concentrate on the many other things you need to be concentrating on. So
it looks like this actually match is set up, and this is going to be the final map. strenx versus GaRpy, and this is, well, who's at a better start for? They trade it back and forth, and the injection used at the last possible second. What a start for GaRpy.
Well, looks like strenx is still on his tail. He's very weak, but doesn't want to chase it. Only had a machine gun. Needed to wait for better equipment, I think. Heavy armor going to be up at some point soon for sure, but GaRpy still getting that first frag less than 30 seconds in. It was huge.
Seems like whoever spawns near LG will win that fight at the beginning. At least the way people are approaching it. Nice rail.
It depends on where that starts.
Well, with the armor on deck, strenx will now tank 2 rails instead of 1. playstyle that we do see Anarchy adapt to rails is very important to survive. Here he comes, full steam ahead. The injection gets popped in enough to keep him alive. They trade it back and forth, but he gets GaRpy at the last possible second. That was a good use of the injection, actually using the wall in between heavy. Just soak up some of that LG so he can survive and get back into the fight before the animation's finished.
Able to do it again though. strenx able to even things out and get the heavy armor in the process. GaRpy though is now on that Sorlag and has stacked up health.
The important element here is that strenx doesn't have Sorlag. Like, it's gone for the rest of the round. This LG is looking a bit more powerful, but just didn't have the health. GaRpy turns it around.
This changes anything.
GaRpy was able to pick up heavy armor in the process. Looks like strenx was really trying to slow it down there, but GaRpy wasn't having any of it. The Ghost Walk is popped early. What can GaRpy do about this? Mega health is picked up, he drops down.
He's not got the acid spit, so he probably doesn't want to fight just yet.
Heavy armor's on its way up too. Is GaRpy going to come down and try and challenge this? He is.
But a little bit too predictable there, I suppose. I think strenx was just waiting for that. And he just gave him exactly what he wanted. Mega moments away. GaRpy probably doesn't want to risk fighting for it either. As these tanky champions, you can really afford to sort of like stick into the catacombs, the small little tunnels, parts of the map where there's not a lot going on, but there are small armors and small healths. If you have a lot of natural health and armor, then that will, I mean, you just go for those and you're still going to have probably more health and armor than a small champion with an overstack.
The thing is that we are seeing a lot of these rails not quite land on the mark, which is kind of putting us back to this much slower, sort of a neutral game all the time. If these, I mean, let's think back to the Cypher set. If you can land the majority of your damage you're trying to sort of poke with. Makes it a lot better in these fights, but there we go, GaRpy point blank trying to force this one out. GaRpy is going to make the most of that one. Just using that raw, natural health advantage to his benefit. Again and again. To take the first round, 2 more rounds for eliminating strenx.
It's a level of awareness we're starting to see a lot more in Quake Champions, where every time Nyx goes into Ghost Walk, she is stuck in her invisibility state for about 2 seconds. She can't re-emerge earlier. She can't re-emerge where she wants to. You can use that time against her. You know, if she's invisible, she can't collect anything. If she can't collect anything, that's a free pickup for you. That mega health is exactly why GaRpy survived that exchange.
Just means you have to use it wisely, which we know strenx does do. It's just sometimes you have to be careful. Well, GaRpy going away.
He's getting chased. Massive damage on the rocket though. Yeah, would have heard Sorlag up behind. He's going for the heavy but can't contest, so they trade it out instead.
Not too bad. A lot of players do that. They know they've lost the mega health, they'll just go for heavy armor and vice versa.
Oh. Nice shot from GaRpy. strenx still nice and healthy though, so he's going to stand his ground. But he's forced the acid spit out. Now, if he gets an up-close fight, way better for him because Sorlag's got that chunky hitbox. Likely to get way more ticks of damage.
Oh no. This is the rocket. This is the injection, just trying to run away again.
Oh, he saves it. GaRpy saving it and taking the fight elsewhere. Getting the mega instead. See if it pays off. Oh, this is the rail too. Misses a couple of these rails. Has to make sure he's getting them uncontested. That's one.
You have to be careful if they have armor left there when you're going for those rails, because if they can just stack up, it's all for nothing. Unless you can hit so many of them, they're forced to constantly search for health. But GaRpy down 28 health, trying to poke out. strenx gets himself a heavy armor too.
Stars.
As long as GaRpy is kind of keeping his distance and staying outside that effective range, picking him off with rail. This is the ruins of Sarnath Anarchy style that is just so prominent in competitive Quake these days.
We see a lot of it from GaRpy too. You know, we have to look back to that round earlier on where he got the first frag in the first 30 seconds or so, and then literally spent 5 minutes playing keep away, right? Playing runaway. Just try and keep that distance and try and win the round on timeout, which is a legit strategy, right? You know, if you know you've got the speed over them and they're not quite nailing you the damage they need to be hitting you with, then it's definitely something you can opt to go to reliably.
strenx had a good call there. Did acknowledge that GaRpy was likely to try and go towards Mega. He has been consistently sort of following that pattern the past 3 times it spawned.
GaRpy could be in trouble though, he's taking a lot of damage here.
Yeah.
Forced to inject again.
Jordan, the strengths is nowhere to be found, so we can get the armor.
You just got to be careful though, because you get caught in a fight without the injection as Anarchy, you are in a lot of trouble. Your opponent is accurate point blank. Strenx has that acid loaded, you can never be too careful.
He's very careful. Oh wow, very surprised that rail missed.
It's not quite landing on the mark. You need to get that damage where you can, but perhaps there's a chance you just didn't expect to see Strenx come out that way.
We do find ourselves in a situation where it's 3 minutes in and not a single frag, and maybe I spoke too soon. Strenx just coming up right behind GaRpy. He was not ready for that one.
Yeah, that was just a sneak attack through and through. GaRpy 100% wasn't ready to see that coming. Still though, approaching a minute and a half left to go. Can always, well, not always be convenient. Have no frags at any point, because it means the later you actually end up losing a team member, the less time you have to even things up or even win on it.
Here comes the 1 minute warning.
Second down, mega health. Another missed rail. Acid didn't quite connect either.
But as long as these exchanges happen and Strenx has more health, like, it doesn't matter if there's a frag, that's going to be a win for Strenx because he's healthy. Doesn't really need to care too much. Now he's got the heavy armor too. It's a lot of work for GaRpy to pull this one back. He's got...
Can you hide for 40 seconds? That's the question.
In 10 seconds, he'll have the acid spit back, and if he manages to catch Strenx, he will need to be able to spend that to get the kill. The danger is that Strenx has it available as well. He can now just listen out for GaRpy. If he hears that he's nearby, he can just run away. Running away is exactly what he's looking to maybe try and do. Force the acid, but he's still got his acid spit. GaRpy had to really put all of his eggs in one basket. He had no other option, but just piled into that rocket and ate it. It's probably going to be 1 round each. 10 seconds left to get 2 champions. I mean, that's just not possible.
No, especially when one of them is Nick. So you can play the respawn and go for the Ghost Walk. I mean, very, very not possible at this point. Even if Strenx loses here, which is not going to happen. Tying things up 1 round apiece. 2 rounds left for both players. I mean, this is about as close as we were expecting it to go, really. But both players have really slowed this last map down. You can see they're so timid to go in for those big plays. But it makes sense, right? You know, if you're playing for money on the line and every mistake could cost you thousands, I mean, you don't want to make that mistake.
Well, with a big play, you win big or you lose big.
Exactly.
And there is no other way about it.
There cannot be 2 winners to this set. Only one of these guys can move on. We start with a saw lag again. Oh, a lot of damage coming through the acid again. Didn't quite connect, and GaRpy drops again. First frag down for Strenx.
It just comes down to the ability to dodge those rockets, but dish out massive damage with the LG. Like, hitting Sorlag with a grounded rocket, if it's not direct, is very difficult because she's going to be bunny hopping. She's going to be constantly off the ground, and if you're off the ground, the damage take on splash damage is so much more minimal. And he saves the acid spit for this up-close situation, and it does pay off. GaRpy loses 2 champions in 40 seconds.
And that's actually goes back to what you were talking about earlier on, right? How quickly the game can go from just one style to another, from extreme sort of a defensive, you know, hit and run style gameplay for both players to just complete up close and personal, just slobber knockers.
Uncontested rail, because there really isn't a way GaRpy, I should say Strenx, is able to predict a reappear.
Yeah, so going up 2, I think he's trying to zone him away from that armor. Oh, nice mid-air rail, but he himself is quite low.
I'd be a bit more worried if I was Strenx after that rail. I know he's just got the heavy armor, but with a bigger hitbox and that range, you're a bit more vulnerable to those far distance shots.
Yes, indeed, but at least with consolation, GaRpy only has not Nick's left.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow, yeah, didn't quite hit the mark with that rail either. Super shotgun coming through. Oh, goes for another rail. GaRpy's so low here. This is another rail. Against that one, though, GaRpy barely alive. Still the rail, though.
He's got an LG
at this point.
That's going to finish the job, but he's too far away. Can he finish it? No!
Is he going to chase, though? He has armor. He can chase if he wants to. He's going to try and make the prediction where he's gone.
More interested in heading him off. Oh! This is the rail ever so slightly.
He's in the room. Just picked up the mega health. Unfortunate for Strength, he isn't quite able to finish off. Oh no, he makes a prediction, but the Ghost Walk is popped. He's making the reading where he goes. He hung around, GaRpy hung around for the fight.
But he walked right into the acid tick, and that was guaranteed death. It's going to be match point for Strengths, but elimination point for GaRpy.
Yeah, GaRpy decided to be aggressive at the end there, but the acid was still in play. I think GaRpy maybe just assumed the acid was down.
Either he assumed it was down or he just trusted his ability to dodge.
Maybe, but the heavy armors can go towards strenx, which is a big problem. GaRpy spawned at the mega health, which is not a huge surprise, but still, strenx already has access to the LG and a rail. Will catch him on the way down. He knows he's gone for the LG. Careful chasing him.
What a good rockets. He's done a fantastic job of keeping strenx pushed away. LG tried as well, but GaRpy just, I mean, one wrong move as an Anarchy. He's got no armor too. One stray rail and he's dead, but we can do a couple of rockets. GaRpy pushes the advantage, but will he regret it? Oh!
Oh, wow.
That was a very quick turnaround.
I actually didn't expect that damage out of nowhere that quick from down there. Quite surprising.
Yeah, confident play from GaRpy though. It's a play he needs.
See GaRpy.
He's got more health and armor as well.
strenx has the shotgun. That's what he's got for them. Oh no, the self-damage.
At this level as well, the smallest mistake. Oh, wow! That was a fantastic rocket.
strenx is in trouble. Very low on this Anarchy. GaRpy is here. Oh, missed the rail. That could have been huge.
You know he's looking for the kill. He's going to go in for it. He's going to chase it to the end of the earth.
He doesn't want strenx to get out of here. strenx trying to fight back with these rails, but GaRpy is stacked on armor. He can afford to be brave here.
With your tournament life on the line, he can't eat something substantial. He has to try and dodge these rails. He can afford to take one. He's running away!
GaRpy's going away. He has no health. Does he realize just how low strenx is?
I mean, maybe he's content just taking that downtime.
He knows strenx has a rail, and if GaRpy was at rail damage, looks like strenx is still up there.
He must have used the downtime, just keep strenx at arm's reach. Oh, what a blank!
It's a beautiful hit from GaRpy.
But it's not enough to get the frag, and the frag is what he desperately needs. He's headed him off. I don't think he's going to survive. No, he will not. That was very well calculated by GaRpy. They could have given strenx the ability to run away and actually restack, but he did stay there just a little bit longer.
Still though, if GaRpy can take down strenx's next, this is going to be evened out to 2 rounds. Be match point both players down to the absolute wire.
Now, so
injection. Gonna, yep, pop it as soon as he Ghost Walk, so it's safe to do so.
that's not a bad exchange actually for GaRpy. Nyx as well. One key rail. Misses it!
He's going to top himself up again.
Now, GaRpy is so consistently in competitive Quake Champions been on the receiving end of match point, both players. Last champion, last round, and he's not been able to finish the job. I think no one wants to break the curse more than him. Gets the heavy!
Oh wow, that was huge for strenx. Just be able to walk on that heavy armor.
strenx has been so consistently surviving on just the bare minimum of health.
Can you imagine how frustrating it must be if you're GaRpy right now, knowing you're doing all the damage, just ever so slightly not enough?
There's one rocket, but minimal damage. Not enough to deter him. strenx will push. Used his Ghost Walk. He has to dedicate to this fight now. Can he survive?
I'm not sure, is he going to chase this? GaRpy has no armor. It's very vulnerable to anything here.
GaRpy has the champion advantage. He's got 3.5 minutes on the clock. Has gone past.
Has 2 though as well. Yeah, it's like he's only ahead by 1.
Oh, all he has to do is survive for 1.5 minutes. It's easier said than done, I know, but
He did it before for 5, almost in an entire go with just 1 champion, so it's possible. It's difficult against someone like Nyx. Also much damage coming through.
taking the downtime of the rail, committing to the fight. Oh, and he gets the rocket! It's match point, both players. Elimination point for both players. And that's the classic strenx type spam. He needs to keep things together. He is still in this fight.
He has 1 round left to go. That's all that both players need in this lower bracket action. Loser's going to be eliminated. The winner will advance through. This is going to be a stressful situation to be in for sure.
Now, the fact that GaRpy has the rocket launcher, and he got a good rocket there too. Nice amount of damage. But if he can just stay outside of the range Sorlag wants to be at, even without a rail, even if he's not got a rail, the rocket launcher put in so much work in that previous round to eliminate Sorlag early on.
There's a fight with the heavy armor, but yeah, GaRpy was smart to get out there immediately. You do not want to be stuck fighting against Sorlag down there. Dangerous situation to be in for sure.
I feel like GaRpy doesn't even want to try and get the railgun. I think it's such a risk to just meet, like bumping into Sorlag face first. He might try and take it now. All right, now things might change up a little bit. Doesn't need to dedicate entirely to the rocket launcher. If he sees strenx from range, he can get that uncontested damage.
Don't require seeing him though. 1 minute left. Both players will realize that any frag now could be game changing. It actually wouldn't surprise me if we see this go down to like a one frag round.
One mistake could keep you away from DreamHack. Wow, point blank. And because the rocket launcher knocked strenx up into the air, every ounce of the acid spit missed. And the missed rail too.
That was a huge win for GaRpy, but he just can't chase it. He's exercising caution above all else right now.
I mean, even if the acid spit is down, Sorlag still has more stack than Anarchy. Naturally, forced to use the injection. Heavy. Pivotal that he collected that.
Wow, trading shot for shot on the railgun.
Heard that rail.
That's really
yeah,
good.
He's going to know that strenx is nearby too. He definitely heard that rail connect. Or connect to the wall, I guess is more accurate sentence right there. There he is. A little bit more damage, but not challenged, GaRpy. He needs to be so careful, and he knows it.
Again, despite for that heavy armor, he's just trying desperately to stop him from picking it up. I understand the attempt.
He's pushing the advantage! strenx goes down! He tries to deny it with the acid, but he just can't! He's down to Anarchy, fresh off the spawn. What start gives him the weapon?
Oh.
He's only got a starting machine gun!
GaRpy's found him. That was a really good hit. There's the injection pops. If GaRpy can win this, he has a rocket launcher. GaRpy has to play this smart. No, he's running away.
I feel like that's a good call. I mean, keep strenx behind. He's got a super shotgun, but I don't think he collect the LG just yet.
He has had a little bit of time between, though. Wouldn't surprise me if he's going to pick one up anyway.
Potentially, but we'll find out in the next fight. No, he's going towards it now. And now the fight became a little bit more even. LG's all round. GaRpy with the champion advantage once more. 2 minutes left. He's been playing a very solid hit and run style this entire map. But a change
Champion
of
lead. There might just be 2 minutes left in for him. Get back to the slow pace. So no one wants to overcommit. No one wants to put themselves in a dangerous situation. But ultimately, strenx is going to have to do something.
Don't think GaRpy wants to run the risk. strenx is trying to fight for the Mega, but he walks face first into an LG, full speed ahead. Is he going to get taken out? He does. GaRpy, he now has the ultimate lead. 1.5 minutes on the clock. 2 champions down.
This is going to be a big ask for strenx to make this full 3 champion comeback with Nyx.
The only saving grace is that the injection's going to be down for 30 seconds, probably a little bit less, because he will be collecting hourglasses along the way.
Oh, we catches him.
Oh, no!
What weapons does strenx have? Oh, GaRpy just popped the... Oh, nothing there, actually.
That might be the only Ghost Walk strenx has a chance to use.
Could be. Bad news for GaRpy. I mean, even if he loses Anarchy here, he can just swap to Nyx.
Hang on.
He can delay his respawn and swap to Nyx.
But he's got a minute. He has a minute left. If he gets a good spawn, he's got a rocket launcher. Nyx is so vulnerable to those directs. This comeback is still possible.
GaRpy just needs to play the long game for 40 seconds. He needs to keep himself as far away as possible. Time is on his side. 40 seconds left. If GaRpy can keep Nyx alive for just over 30 seconds, he will advance through this lower bracket and eliminate strenx from the tournament. But strenx has seen him. He's on the chase. Has to be careful. He missed the rail. That missed rail could be huge.
They're both vulnerable to rails at this stage. strenx gets the armor, which will help him. But with 20 seconds on the clock.
But strenx can't overcommit. If he overcommits and eats too much damage, he will die and lose that way. 15 seconds left. He has to catch GaRpy before there's about 5 seconds left. There's the Ghost Walk.
He dedicates to the Ghost Walk, but there's no one there to be found. It's 10 seconds. This is likely to be guaranteed for GaRpy. He still hasn't used his Ghost Walk. 5 seconds left. That is all she wrote. strenx is out of the tournament. But GaRpy will live to fight another day. Believe it or not, that is not even a qualification match. That is just to stay alive in this tournament, and that was ridiculous.
And that is how you can play. You know, Quake can be matches over in a few minutes. It can be, you know, crazy frags left, right, and center, or it can be drawn out for the timeout if it needs to be. It's about using everything you have at your disposal to get that win. They're playing for a shot at $35,000 at DreamHack for just duel alone, and if a strategy is available to you, I mean, that's your reward, right? If you get an early frag in the round, your reward is being able to dictate how you want to win that. If you don't think they can catch you and you can just run away for however long it takes to get the win via timeout, you deserve that reward for being able to get that first frag. For playing better at the start of the round, that's what you should be able to do. And GaRpy able to do it.
Well, I said it earlier on. I mean, GaRpy has so often been on the receiving end of a set just like that, where it's been the last frag, the last round, and he's come up short, and he's lost it, and he's felt defeat at the last second so often. I'm glad in that set that he was able to sort of like conquer that, but it's not over for him. He has to face off against Sparty next, which is another match in this lower bracket. We will be seeing more of GaRpy after this very short break. Don't go anywhere because Quake will continue after